honestly, I feel myself starting to tear up a little bit even talking about it. Hey legends, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews, the show that loves all things entertainment and shares that love with you. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. Now we have gotten Stan and Ollie, Steve Coogan as Stan Laurel and Jon C. Reilly as Oliver Hardy. And I do believe whenever I reviewed the trailer I had said that I was kind of worried about this film because, you know, some things I genuinely think just should not be touched when it comes to like remakes and whatnot. But this is like a biopic of Stan and Ollie. In all honesty, I was, no joke, I was so nervous to go and see this film. So nervous, but I'm happy to report that this completely surpassed any expectations I had for it. I was just so beautifully done, and I was thinking, can these guys actually pull off being Laurel and Hardy? And of course Jon C. Reilly is underneath a heck of a lot of makeup and prosthetics to make him look like Oliver, but it works so well. Like, you know, prosthetics on the face in films can look really fake sometimes, and that was probably one of my biggest worries too, that this just would look so much like makeup that it would just be unrealistic. Thankfully it worked perfect. Their performance together as Stan and Ollie is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, the film is basically shares the story of their final tour together, which they were hoping maybe reignite their careers, but ends up being their swan song essentially. Like, there's going to be no real spoilers in this review. Like, if you have seen the trailer, you know, it pretty much gives what you're going to see in the film. Like, the trailer is very honest to what the film gives you, but the delivery of the film is well worth going to see it. The scene at the very beginning of the film, well, light spoilers, let's say, it's basically during the shooting of Way Out West is where we start off at, and Stan and Ollie, and you see an interaction between the two of them and Hal Roach. And yes, you see the tension between Stan and Hal Roach with regards to this contract, what they're getting paid for and whatnot, how much money they're making. And we go into the dance scene from Way Out West, and they recreate that dance virtually pitch perfect to what it was in Way Out West. And the camera angles and that way they're doing the dance takes you right into the middle of it. It's not just a recreation of them doing the exact same thing, it's actually, they start to dance and the camera is behind them. You see the camera crew and everything there, and the camera slowly pans back from them, and so wonderfully done. So we skip from there to 16 years later during the tour of England and Ireland, and we could follow them throughout that and everything that happens to them during that performance. And of course, again, no spoilers, you've seen it in the trailer, there is a little bit of hard feelings between the two of them, because Oliver did a movie without Stanley 16 years previous, and this resurfaces again and almost destroys their friendship. But by the end of the film, it is, you know, their true feelings for each other, just brings them back together. At one point, Oliver takes bad health. I might not be able to finish the tour. Stan is offered a partner to replace Oliver, and of course by the end of the movie, Oliver just, you know, forget about my health, I don't care. What's really important to me is my friendship with Stanley and actually finishing this tour off. And honestly, I feel myself starting to tear up a little bit even talking about it. It's just the final moments of this movie where you see Oliver coming back to finish off the final dates of the tour along with Stanley, and as kind of like has a struggle to keep up with it due to his ill health, and the final scene and the decision of what they do to close out the tour is absolutely beautiful. It's so well done. I could not recommend this film higher. Definitely get to see it sometime, even if you don't know who Laurel and Hardy are. Like, I know there's, and I've met them, I've met quite a few people who have no idea who Stan, Laurel and Oliver Hardy are. I grew up with them. Jon S, Reilly in particular, he did such a good job as Oliver Hardy, and Steve Coogan was, I'm happy to report, very surprising as Stan Laurel. So good. Definitely go check this movie out. At Wall Indeed, I have got no doubt in my mind, if you haven't heard of them before, you've never seen any of their movies, you know nothing about them, this movie is going to reignite the interest in the back catalogue of Laurel and Hardy's movies, and there is so many of them to watch. Let me show you. I should have had this before I started recording, but just to show you how many movies there is. This is the DVD box set of Laurel and Hardy. Look at the size of that thing. That's a shoe box. Like, there is, what, in terms of DVD, there is 21 discs in this box set. That's how big their career was. And again, just to finish out this review, I'm happy to finally see a movie that is either not a remake but a biopic if it's based upon famous people. I'm glad to see one that is actually does them justice. And yes, I don't know how to finish this review out. It's so good. Go and see it, guys.